Ball player, game show host, father of five, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Little roller up along first. Behind the ball. Gets up there.
See you in Pittsburgh.
Can't wait. All the band is out of the field. He's going to go into the end zone. Looking, throwing in the end zone.
You're tuned into Game On with Josh Silverberg and Eric Bowe. Talking all things sports. It's
Game on! Yeah, game on.
Game On, right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. You are listening and watching us on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Happy Thursday to all of you out there in Radio Land and everything of that nature. I am your host, Josh Silverberg. Of course, my co-host, Eric Bowe, and behind the board, Mr. Producer and Mr. WWSRN himself, Speedy Petey. You can check us out, worldwidesportsradio.com. Also on YouTube and Instagram Live. And, of course, all the smart speakers and everything of that nature. 631-672-3108 is the number to call. Eric, how you doing, man?
Hey, we're living the dream each and every day, right?
You're on a streak. Three in a row.
Don't call it a comeback.
As Lou Brown would say, that's what we call a winning streak. So there it is. A lot to get to, of course. World Series preview, World Series predictions. Eric, congratulations to you on your New York Yankees getting there. It's been 15 long years since they've stepped foot on a baseball field that had the World Series logo on it. So congrats to you, of course. And they will be taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers, and Major League Baseball is salivating over this matchup, considering what they got last year in regards to where they were with the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. So we have a lot to get to. Demon says Yankees in 4.
Now, Josh, you and I, we spoke about the World Series matchup, and you know what? I gave you a night not to bother you Sunday night after the heartbreaking loss that you had.
It wasn't really heartbreaking. They got their butt whooped. I mean, but yeah, sure.
But I wasn't trying to dig into you too much. But when we talked, man, the confident level that you had, A, and if the Mets made it beating the Yankees, and B, the confident level you have of the Dodgers over the Yankees right now.
I've gone back and forth.
Take us through that. I want to hear more about that. Take us through that, please.
It's interesting. I think everything just it happened so abruptly with how the Mets season ended that I think I was just on the Dodger train with where they were, what I watched in that series, what I saw in the Padres series, no less, because everybody was predicting that the Padres were the best team in the postseason. And to be down 2-1 and have a bullpen game, win in San Diego, and then beat the snot out of the Padres in Game 5 after all the shenanigans that the San Diego Padres were doing, jerks of Profar holding the ball, Machado throwing the ball at the dugout, yada, 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 so on and so forth. Fernando Tatis literally shimmying in right field, to me, was impressive. And then what they did to the Mets, who were the hottest team in the postseason, and beating them up pretty much all the games that they won. There was not a single game in that series that was close. Either the Mets beat them down or the Dodgers beat them down. It didn't really make a difference. I've gone back and forth, and we'll get to our predictions in a little bit, but we want to go through the head-to-head stuff and everything of that nature. I mean, this is Major League Baseball needed this, right? We can all agree they needed this matchup. The ratings have been down, the demographic has been down. The kids, listen, football is king. We know this, but you're talking the last time these two teams met were in 1981, and I believe they had 41 million watch and listen to the game. Now, if they get over, I think last year they had 9 million watch the Rangers and the Diamondbacks. It's two small market teams. Nobody really cares, right? Like, that's the issue. Now this year, you have two powerhouses with unbelievable fan bases, West Coast versus East Coast. This
And
is
how many MVPs or former MVPs are in this game?
well, how many future Hall of Famers are in this game? You're talking Otani, Judge, Betts, Freeman, Soto, probably Stanton. I would say Giancarlo deserves to be in there now too, with all the years he had with the Marlins and what he's doing in the postseason. Garrett Cole. So there's probably you got about 8 future Hall of Famers in this series alone. And then also what breaks it is that you have these interesting nuances with the Dodgers where you have a guy like Tommy Edman, who I've said it time and time again. When I watch Tommy Edman play, it reminds me so much of David Eckstein, because when you watch a guy like Tommy Edman, impossible to get out, works the count 8, 9, 10 pitches deep, and then when he gets that pitch, he gets a base hit, or he'll hit a home run, and he's a pain in the butt, and he's annoying. And he was good on the Cardinals for a couple years, and then they got him at the trade deadline. And then you even have some stuff with the Yankees as well. Like, you're seeing it with, you're still waiting for the Jazz Chisholms and the Anthony Volpes to break through, but then Austin Wells gets a big hit the other night against Cleveland, which is good.
See, I'm glad you brought that up though, about the whole patience and Tommy Edman kind of just doing his thing like that, being that David Eckstein-esque, Chone Figgins-esque kind of guy, right? Where the Mets don't really have that, right? And I think that's where the Dodgers were able to use the bullpen games and use, a lot of the pen and stretch out their pitchers a little bit more than I'm sure that they wanted to, but were allowed to, basically. Where the Yankees grind out at bats just as much as the Dodgers do. So those bullpen games and the extra innings or the extra having to use a guy and being smart that way, I think is really going to come into play.
I think the big thing is for the Yankees and the Dodgers, the Yankees have had 3 guys that have helped carry them to this point, right? It's been Aaron Judge. No, seriously, it's been Giancarlo Stanton, Juan Soto, and Gleyber Torres. Like, you're still waiting for Aaron Judge. Now, he had a home run in the series against the Guardians, but you're still waiting for that huge pop moment, right? Whereas for the Dodgers, it's been 1 through 9 every single game. And Teoscar Hernandez was horrible in the NLCS. And then he got going the last 2 games. But I'm not even discussing that. It's Shohei Ohtani's not hitting with nobody on base now. That's a big deal. You have Mookie Betts, who's doing his thing. He's a World Series winner. He's MVP winner. Freddie Freeman, what they're saying is the ankle's going to be fine for the playoffs and everything, and he's still doing his thing. But it's even the bigger thing was the bottom of the order for the Dodgers was ginormous. You're talking Tommy Edman, who won the NLC, right? I just named you all those superstars, right? Hernandez, Betts, Ohtani, Freeman, and then it's Tommy Edman that wins the MVP. And then you also have Max Muncy, who's doing what he does, where he grinds out 10, 11 pitch at bats. Will Smith got it going in Game 6. And then Angel Pages, who hit 2 home runs in Game 5. The Mets scored 10 runs in that game in Game 5, and you still didn't feel secure in that game because then they made it, I think it was 10-6 at one point, and you're like, oh my, here they come again. They don't stop. They're relentless. They're a relentless group. And then you have the Yankees, who consistently find the big hit, most notably Stanton and Soto. I do think the Yankees are going to need a little bit more from the Volpes of the world. The Chisholm has done nothing so far. And I think that's that. Verdugo hit a hit the other night against Cleveland. Right now, it would be really just Soto and Stanton and Torres, whereas the Dodgers, it's just a relentless do a bunch of players that constantly just grinding it out, and they make you throw strikes. And if you don't have a hard thrower, go ask Jose Quintana. If you don't have a hard thrower, that's going to be a problem. They're going to force you to throw strikes. And when they force you to throw strikes, that ball is gone in a second. It happened the whole series.
That's going to be the huge and the biggest difference from the Dodgers playing the Mets to the Dodgers playing the Yankees. Just pitching staff, just pitching alone, right? Like the Mets had an unbelievable run. No one can ever discredit them and the magical run that they had. But look at the pitching in that series. What did Quintana do? What did Senga do? What did Minaya do? Peterson, right? You didn't have that guy that could execute his pitches, be there before, be that dog for you, and really shut down the Dodgers. You didn't have that. Where the Yankees have some guys who can do that. They don't always do it, but they can do it. You have Garrett Cole, Rodon going game 2, Luis Hill, right? Nestor could be possibly. We'll see how
it'll be Schmidt, but yes.
Schmidt, but you know what I mean? They have some guys who are battle tested, who can go deep in games or at least shorten the game for you before you bring in the bullpen high leverage guys, right? I said in the championship round, I wasn't trying to toot Yankee horn or anything like that, but think about it. The best closer remaining was on the Yankees. We can't, let's not discredit anything that Luke Weaver is doing, right? And the fact that he's been a middle reliever, that he's been a starter, that he's been all this. Guess what? If you have to pitch him 6 outs, sure, no problem. He's been there before. He's stretched out that way. He's not hey, I pitched 3 innings or I pitched 3 outs. I can't go tomorrow night or anything. That's a huge factor. Then you're able to bring Clay Holmes even earlier, which anytime it's not the 9th inning and you bring Clay Holmes in, phenomenal. Although extra innings, that's a different story.
Well, this is
earlier, and now you kind of start your bullpen guys, the bigger guys sooner. How do you beat that? Just like the Dodgers have a great bullpen. Don't get me wrong, but again, who had the best bullpen coming into the series or into the championship series? It was Cleveland. Cleveland had the big guns going. They had Class A. They had Smith. They had a few guys, right, that were basically top of the line, and the Yankees just basically handed it to them. Dismantled them. We're able to kind of take advantage, grind out those at-bats. And you know what? If the Dodgers have to use a bullpen game and they have to use those high-leverage guys a lot more often, that could be a huge swing. And that was one thing that the Mets could not do in that series.
Well, the Padres couldn't do it either. And that's the biggest thing that I take away is that the Padres, we talk about the bullpens or anything like that. The Dodgers have been very battle tested. They saved the season for them against the San Diego Padres in San Diego, and then they beat them. They clinched the game 6 against the Mets. So this Dodger bullpen has already been battle tested. Now I will tell you this: 2 things that the Dodgers are excellent at. 2 things. One is running the bases.
Yes,
running the bases very well, and 2, fielding the baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They're very good at fielding the baseball. And I'm not discrediting what the Yankees have done so far. Listen, they're in the World Series. But what they did against Cleveland and Kansas City with the running the bases and some of their fielding and everything like that, like the Rizzo plays and everything, that cannot happen in this series. This is not the Royals. This is not the Guardians. These are not lineups where the Royals have Bobby Witt, and then it's like, okay, there's other guys that are there. And then it's Cleveland, which is, okay, you have Jose Ramirez, Stephen Kwan, and then it's like,
and Naylor.
Naylor stinks in the postseason. He was horrible. He hit 105 in the playoffs. I mean, he was terrible anyway. It was awful. Yeah, really, the Yankees made him the baby, that's for sure.
Now, I'm going to take it a step further of what you're saying in the run game, because it's almost the opposite, too. You said the Dodgers are a very good running team. Absolutely.
And they're a great defensive team.
Here's the biggest factor, and I think this will also help dictate how the series goes. Do you remember I think it was a Sunday night baseball game, the Yankees versus the Red Sox? How many stolen bases did the Red Sox have that game?
They had, what was it, 7?
The running game. The Yankees pitching are really going to have to step up and hold runners on. big difference of having Ohtani on first base with less than 2 outs than having him on second base with less than 2 outs, or Freeman, or the next guy, right? Huge difference keeping him at first compared to second for base runners. So definitely pitchers for the Yankees will have to hold on to those Dodger runners. Because if not, I mean, Wells, as the season got going, got better throwing runners out, but still nowhere near above average and everything that way.
No, and of course, and then again, like you said, you have Ohtani, but then you also have guys like Tommy Edman, Podges steals bases, Mookie Betts steals bases.
Freeman does too, but I think his ankle injury.
His ankle is going to take him out of that, but it's still a matter of and that's the thing. Will Smith's a very good defensive catcher, so the Yankees also have to figure. Listen, both teams so far have played very, very sound baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They do. They have. It's a step up in competition, of course, with the Yankees, right? They've played everybody. Remember what I said on the show to you last week? I said to you, the Yankees are going to the World Series. I said that in the division round. I said they were going to the World Series. I mean, it was like the easiest bet you could make. Like there was nobody in Cleveland and Kansas City. Now the games against Kansas City were tight, and that's the other thing too. The games against Cleveland were tight, whereas the Dodgers just bombarded them.
Good pitching stats. You know what I mean? So it's the hitting was lacking on those teams, we'll say, but the pitching staff was up there with anybody. That's huge. It's not, the Yankees aren't going in cold, or maybe after this long layover, but they're not going in and facing all of a sudden guys that we haven't seen this kind of pitching so far.
So when we look at the numbers right now between the two teams in the regular season, the Yankees were top of baseball with 237 home runs. The Dodgers had 233. They were second. The base on balls, the Yankees led it with 672. The Dodgers finished second with 602. The slugging percentage, the Dodgers, but they had the highest at 446. The Yankees were fourth at 429. And then you had the OPS numbers, which are literally the Yankees were third with 761. Where the Dodgers, they led it at 781. So, I mean, it's almost, the other thing is the Yankees grounded into 138 double plays this year. They led the league, where the Dodgers only grounded into 99. So and then this is where it gets interesting with the defense. I'm very curious with the defense where this goes. That neither the Dodgers or the Yankees are the best fielding teams, but the Dodgers have a higher fielding percentage than the Yankees do, and a higher wins above replacement. Obviously,
the
Dodgers were the number one seed this year, duh. So I mean, it's a moot point and everything like that. But basically, all of the numbers that the Dodgers have a 335 on base percentage, the Yankees have a 333. Do
you remember that Spider-Man meme where they're pointing to each other?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's literally.
Exactly. I mean, the biggest thing that I see is defensive efficiency. The Dodgers were 724 in defensive efficiency. They were second in MLB with 724. The Yankees were 13th in 703. So it's a matter of.
And you know who I think you can account a lot of those to is the middle of the infield.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like against Kansas City and Cleveland, I think you could afford to give the extra outs, right? Because is David Fry really gonna startle you? Is I don't know. Name me somebody on the Royals. I don't even know who's even on the Royals.
Big Christmas.
Yeah, really. Yeah, the guy hit 201 for the season. I mean, come on. Where if you give the Dodgers extra outs,
they make you hurt. Yeah,
it's a problem, And the same thing for the Yankees. If you give the Yankees extras, people were asking me, they've been asking me last week, who would this devastate more if they lost the series? The Yankees, or who needs to support, the Yankees or the Dodgers?
Honestly, I think the Dodgers.
I think the Yankees.
No.
Because the thing is with Soto, if he goes, this is an opportunity for the Yankees here. If he leaves Soto and they don't win a championship, that's going to mean a lot. It's going to be huge because let's call it like it is. And I'm going to bring up the Ken Rosenthal thing in a second. I know Arrow and Speedy brought it up on the Sports Live match yesterday with Jabba Chamberlain. The fact that Ken Rosenthal is saying what I've said all along. Some people are thinking, oh, he's going to stick with the Yankees, stick with the Yankees, stick with the Yankees. I said all along, he's going to the highest bidder.
Mhm.
Like, that's just what he's going to do. It doesn't matter. It could be the Mets, it could be the Giants, it could be, I've heard the Red Sox are interested. A team that I don't think enough people are talking about because they did just get new owners are the Baltimore Orioles. I don't think enough people are talking about the Baltimore Orioles. The Washington Nationals, they want to bring him back and put him in that lineup and try to build around him and try to do it again. The Phillies, I'm sure, I don't know how they're going to do it, the Phillies, because they got Nick Castellanos and these crap contracts that they're not going to be able to get rid of because who wants that garbage? He's trash. I mean, first off, he plays in Philly. That's number one. Number two, he stinks. So who's going to want that contract? You know what I mean? And yeah, I insulted Philly fans again in Philadelphia, the city itself, because it's the armpit of America, as I like to say. Other than that, it's a matter of Soto's going to go to the highest bidder. That's why I feel like with the Dodgers, the thing that I could give a Dodge if they don't win it is their whole pitching staff is just depleted right now. It's shot. Like Glass now is out. Kershaw's shot. I mean, this has just been a problem for the Dodgers.
Yes,
The Yankees are fully healthy. They have everything there.
mostly.
Who's missing?
Well, let's see how Nestor is.
So you're going to dictate if the Yankees lose the World Series if Nestor Cortez pitches or not?
No, but you said they're fully healthy.
Good as Mike.
You said
time out for 1 minute.
You said fully healthy.
Stop.
They're missing some bullpen guys.
Who's the bigger one, Tyler Glass now or Nestor Cortez? And if you say Nestor Cortez, I'm muting you for 5 minutes. This is what I do to my students when we're in school. I do the same thing to them. When they don't stop and they scream, we sit silent for 2 minutes. Every time they talk, I'd add another minute.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. The Dodgers definitely have some key injuries. But the Dodgers also have, let's see, Shohei Ohtani, Yamamoto, right? They had the biggest offseason you could ever imagine.
And I understand that.
And guess what?
And the Yankees have a penny free agent.
That just means now every single year, as like the Yankees, it means the Dodgers need to not only be in the World Series, but win it. You can't go all in for 10 plus years and all of a sudden say, oh, we keep making it and we keep losing.
I mean, they've been to it 4 times. I mean, the other thing is you have to understand, though, I think the fan base that would be way more devastated also is the Yankee fan base if they don't win.
Absolutely. Well,
that's another thing. Like, you have to understand, like,
be realistic, though, with the Yankees.
The Yankees went all in on Soto.
Every year, if it's not World Series win, it's a bust.
Of course. And they went all in on Soto. He might leave if they don't win a World Series.
But that's why you have 27 championships. The most out of everybody, right? Because that's the standard for it.
Speedy, look up how many teams were around in 1941 and 1943. Please, for the love of God.
Listen, who was the last team? Josh, who was the last team to repeat?
I know the Yankees. The Yankees.
Okay.
I have all the respect in the world for the Yankees, other than when they were shooting each other up in the locker room with Clemens and Bennett. But I have all the credit in the world for what they've accomplished.
It's the reputation that comes along with that. It's the Yankee fans. It's everyone. It's World Series or bust.
So this sounds like what you're making my argument. The Yankees have more pressure than the Dodgers do.
By the way, there were 16 teams.
16 teams?
16.
That's more than half the league.
Yeah. Oh God. Stop it.
The Yankees had the second best record that year, only to the Cardinals.
Oh, of course, the Cardinals were there too because they have the second most World Series championships. I wonder why. Because they've only been around since 1905 or whatever it's been.
By the way, second place in the American League that year, the Washington Senators.
And how many?
84 wins.
Wow. You know, I mean, geez.
That's huge.
No, listen, I understand your points. I understand where you're getting at. You know, I know you're going to pick the Yankees to win the series, understandably so.
Whoa. Don't be putting words in my mouth.
If you
we'll get to that.
You might as well sign off.
We'll get to that, but go ahead.
To me, I look at it like this. I look at it at a statistic standpoint of where the Yankees are with 3 or 4 guys hitting well versus the Dodgers that are hitting relentlessly 1 through 9. But then also you have the Yankees starting pitching, which I trust a lot more than the Dodgers starting pitching I do. But here's the thing that the Dodgers were able to do with the time off. They were able to line up their rotation, which is nice. They haven't been able to do that in the postseason because it goes from one series to another to another. Now they had a week off to be able to line it up to Flaherty, to Yamamoto, to Bueller, to – are they doing another bullpen game? Or they haven't said anything, Speedy?
Probably at least one. You just hope
But I mean, what other option is there?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, but the thing is, I asked this question.
Healthier Freddie Freeman, that's huge.
But I want to see Aaron Judge hit. And if Aaron Judge does not hit in this series, I don't think they're winning. I know as much as Soto and Stanton have done, this is not the Royals. This is not the Guardians. This is a powerhouse juggernaut that is Ohtani all the way down to Padres. And then you even have guys like Kike Hernandez who stink in the regular season and come on in the playoffs. This is what it's just. They're going to work at bats, just like the Yankees are going to work at bats. The Dodgers are going to work at bats. The difference that I see is the Yankees are an all or nothing. They're either going to hit for power or they're going to strike out. Right or wrong on that. They're either going to hit home runs or they're going to strike out. How did they win the game that night? Austin was a 2-run home run. Soto hit a 3-run home run.
Except
The
for
Dodgers.
What was it? Game 5 or game 6? No, game 5. When all of a sudden Cleveland tied it up. How did the Yankees take the lead again?
Then they hit a home run, didn't they? Oh, no, they got a base hit, didn't? No.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
But you see what my point is. But the Dodgers have also been able to win it without the long ball. That's the thing. I also think what the Dodgers are able to do, I also think the competition that they've gone up against, the Padres and the Mets, are much better than teams of the Guardians and the Royals. I think we have to agree on that. And if we don't agree on that, then there's a serious problem that you and I need to figure out in our discussion. Because I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, if you're going to sit there and say the Royals and Guardians are just as good as the San Diego Padres,
no,
I have a bridge to sell you somewhere.
Hitting wise, absolutely not. Pitching wise,
well, Kansas City, I agree with you. The Royals were good, but the Royals, the problem was Waka was a disaster. Waka was bad.
Reagan's.
And as Reagan's walked the park that night, that's why he only went 4 2/3. And Lugo, it was a terrible matchup for him, Lugo. Horrible matchup. And he didn't even pitch that great in the second half, Lugo. He was okay. He's going to finish top 3 in the Cy Young.
I'm going to give you half credit there, Josh, because you know what? The Yankees have gone against a lot of good pitching so far.
They didn't get the Royals and the Astros. They got the road they wanted, and good for them. Listen, they're there. They're in the World Series.
Do you remember us talking in the studio about Houston this year? You know, they were down in the dumps. They finally climbed out of it.
I mean, you also picked
Houston wasn't the same team this year. Let's be realistic. Houston was not the same team this year. Baltimore was not the same team this year. You know, Baltimore should have ran away with the division this year.
I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Listen, the Yankees,
you're bringing up Baltimore and Houston. Oh, if Yankees had to go through them. Not exactly. Guess what? If the Yankees had to go through them, they would have had to gone through them. They would have made it.
But the thing is, too,
not the same juggernauts that you're thinking of this year.
Let me ask you this: with the Orioles and their starting pitching, other than Corbin Burns, who were you able to trust? They lost countless.
Absolutely. But you're saying if the Yankees had to play them, right? The Yankees
the Orioles own them during the season, so I mean it's kind of fair to make the assumption.
Not late in the season. Late in the season, the Yankees won a couple of series.
What was the season series against them? The Orioles and the Yankees. I don't think that's even
the final series.
The Orioles own the tiebreaker. They own the tiebreaker. That's number one. And listen,
8-5 Orioles.
The Orioles are 8-5.
But what was like the last three? I think the Yankees won the last series, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, because the Orioles the division was over at that point, so it didn't really, you know.
Same thing with Houston.
Orioles won 2 or 3.
The Orioles won 2 or 3 in the last series.
They just had one blowout. The Orioles
had nothing to play for.
Yankees had one blowout, 10-1 game, but that was.
So I mean, look, listen, I'm not this. This is the thing.
But you're saying the Yankees, it would have been a lot tougher through those teams. Those weren't the
Of
same
course
teams.
it would have. Would I rather play the Orioles and the Astros, or would I rather play the Royals and the Guardians? The AL Central is a garbage division. They have the White Sox they get to play 13 times a year. That's
wait.
why all those teams got in.
So who eliminated Houston then?
Yeah, the Royals, because the Astros stunk this
And
year.
who eliminated the Orioles?
It wasn't the Guardians. Who did eliminate the Orioles?
The Royals.
Oh, then who eliminated the Astros?
The Tigers.
The Tigers.
Oh,
The
okay.
Tigers.
AJ
No.
AJ Hinch's it was a revenge series.
So guess what? So you're telling me those teams are better than the teams the Yankees had to play? I wouldn't go that far.
I mean,
Would not go that far.
whatever. I mean, listen.
But I will say
the
the
whole-
pitching that the Yankees had to face was very tough. We cannot discredit the Royals starters. You can't discredit the Guardians bullpen.
But I'm still going to give credit to the Dodgers. I mean, Flaherty had a good
100%.
season. Yamamoto's going to pitch
that away.
more.
But don't think it was that much of a cakewalk. Yeah, it was the hitting. The hitting wasn't there. I'll agree with that.
Dude, I said before this playoff started, I said, Speedy, you were here. I said the same thing. The Yankees they're going to the World Series. Book it now.
100. No, listen, I agree with you because guess what? The hitting on both those teams aren't the same hitting
They're
as
garbage.
the
The hitting
I agree.
stunk.
But that's why I'm saying half credit because the pitching staff was right there.
But that's also why I want to see. But that's the other thing too is I want to see the Yankees start. I want to see Carlos Rodon against this lineup.
Listen,
I want to see him get through it, and I don't want to hear him screaming if he strikes out Ohtani after the first at bat of the game again.
I think I'm pretty sure he learned his lesson with that.
I hope he did and needs to chill the bleep out because that was ridiculous.
I hope Andy Pettit, CC Sabathia, even Garrett Cole, I hope are in his ear saying,
yeah, Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole's another nutcase. Please, he needs to be on Xanax. He's another one, you crazy SOB.
creature of habit, all right?
Listen, I'll tell you,
Again,
I had to watch Max Scherzer. I had to watch Max Scherzer pitch. I know it's a creature of habit.
Yeah.
Sometimes the creature should be extinct, but that's besides the point.
Give me your prediction of how the Dodgers are going to win in 2 games.
Well, they can't win 2 games. I mean, they would have to win 4. But to me,
sarcasm, sir.
Oh, I get it. Ha ha ha. No, I have actually been very back and forth on this series. 2 days ago I thought the Dodgers. Yesterday I thought the Yankees. So then I said, you know what? I'm going to pick a winner after Game 7.
Oh, I see what you did. Wow.
Speedy,
Nice.
did you get that?
Okay.
I said I'm going to pick a winner of the series after Game 7.
Yeah, that was
Winner of
you
game-
did there.
The winner of Game 7 is winning the World Series.
Nice.
No, I really, honestly,
The first to win 4 games was the
that's
series.
it.
Duh.
I know.
I love the Dodgers.
I think the bullpens are very even. The Yankees have the starting pitching advantage. The Dodgers have the lineup advantage because there's more depth in the lineup. So both managers, I don't trust within a 10-foot pole of each other. So that's besides the point. Don't let Earl hear that because he loves Aaron Boone. So, it's tough. I really don't know which way to go or who to pick because, like I said, I've switched it every day.
No pressure, Josh. We've only had a week to think of it.
Again, I've switched it every single day.
Same.
It's literally I don't know. I've said Dodgers in 6. I've said Yankees in 6. I've then said 7. I wouldn't be surprised if this series somehow won 5 and somebody blasted another one out of the water. I'm gonna stick with the original. I'm gonna stick with Dodgers in 7. I think it's gonna go 7. I think the 2 X factors in this series. I think on the Dodgers side, it's going to be – I think it's going to actually be – obviously, the X factor for me is the Dodger bullpen. If they're all hitting on all cylinders, it's going to be a tough one for them, for the Yankees. And then for the Yankees, I think the X factor, it's pretty concrete. It's Aaron Judge. He's got to hit. He has to hit the ball. He hasn't hit any of these postseasons in his career. It's been a struggle for him as a postseason player. I think Yankee fans are starting to get annoyed. And the thing is, like, this is the last year that all of these guys are going to be together. Because if the Yankees bring back Soto, then they're not going to be able to bring back Cole. Like, Cole's going to opt out then. And then they're not going to bring back Garrett Cole. and they'll have to fill that. And if they bring back Garrett Cole, how are they affording Soto with all those contracts? Financially, it's just not feasible because now you're losing draft pick stock. But the big thing is the Yankees have is their international market. They're massive on the international market.
Keep in mind,
they're going to lose money on that.
Keep in mind,
you can't. Eric, I know you're going to say everybody's coming back. Everybody's coming back. It's not financially feasible
to
bring everybody back.
And Speedy, same thing. Keep this in your back pocket. The Yankees already made at this point in the offseason, the Yankees already traded for Verdugo, already traded for Soto, already signed. I think they signed Stroman at this point, but if not, were they not prepared to offer Yamamoto a $300 million deal contract?
That's not seven. That's not a number starting at 6 or 7 for Soto.
Were they not prepared to do so? So you're saying, oh, we can't bring this back. We can't do back. Guess what? There's a lot of creativity that can happen.
If you bring back Soto, Garrett Cole cannot come back. It's not financially feasible. It's going to have to be one or the other. It cannot be both.
Nope.
You can't do it.
I think Cole's contract allows it to happen.
Bro, he's still going to get the full 320. And he's going to opt out anyway, dude. The rest of his contract's won something. Why wouldn't he opt out?
Correct me if I'm wrong. And I could be completely wrong on this. But I could have sworn that if he opts out, the Yankees can add a year to the end of the contract to keep him in. I'm pretty sure there was some kind of clause or something like that.
Now you're finishing the full set. So you're telling me, hold on, if Soto gets...
But guess what? That helps keep Soto too, no?
Hold on, 700 divided by 14 years. Okay, hypothetically speaking, Soto gets a 14-year contract, which is what a lot of people are saying. 14 years for $700 million, right? So that's, hold on, I have the numbers here. I have the average annual values here.
Let's say.
You're telling me Soto at $50 million, Judge at 40, Stan at 25, Cole at 36, Rodon at 27. You're telling me that the Yankees are going to be able to afford that when they're going to be in financial hell?
They can afford that. It's a matter of does Hal want to go that far? Does Hal want to go that? That's going to be the question. But go ahead. Go back to your World Series prediction. Give me an X factor on the Dodgers as well.
Get again. Or maybe he's muted.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. You got it.
Did you hear a word I said?
No, I kept telling you to stop talking.
I think the internet just flickered a little bit.
All right.
You can't do it, dude.
So all I was saying was it's the New York Yankees, okay?
Oh, again, it's the New York Yankees.
Listen, they're worth a lot of money. I'm just saying, if they want to do it, they can do it.
Here's the thing. I'm going to give you a little owner tutorial
Thank you.
now.
Thank you.
Okay. So Hal Steinbrenner's net worth right now is $1.2 billion. The financial net worth that he has is just through the Yankees and what's on the patch that they have? Steiner memorabilia?
Steiner Sports.
Like memorabilia?
Okay, the Yes Network. Mm-hmm.
Okay. They offer him 14 years, and the number starts at 7.
See, I don't think it starts at 7. I really don't think it starts at 7. I think it could be 5.
Right. So here's what Ken Rosenthal said in the article. Here's what he said. Quote, I see, and Ken is as in the know as anybody. This is not, what's the what's the bald-headed fool's name or whatever his name is? Nightingale? The idiot. Yeah. He said, quote, I see Juan Soto going for the highest offer, Rosenthal said. He's been pointing towards this moment, right? He turned down a few years back for the Nationals $440 for 15 years. Not a great AAV. And I expect that he's going to want to beat Ohtani's present day value, which is going to be in the high 40s. He's going to want $50 million a year, which is exactly what I just said. Present day. And he's going to want it over a long period. That's why you're hearing talks of 500, 600, possibly even starting at 700. It's realistic based on what the people are saying. And then he says this.
But you know what the main difference is with Ohtani and Soto? Does Soto pitch?
Doesn't matter. He's 26.
But
He plays
you're
every
paying
game.
Ohtani to be two players.
He's 26 and he plays every baseball game.
That's fine, but you paid Ohtani.
He's
to
30
be
years
two
old.
Positions.
Yes, he's also 30 years old.
The 5 and 6, like you had mentioned, that makes more sense. But we'll see. You're right.
Yeah.
And you know what?
He says,
all this could be a moot point because guess what? Mr. Cohen and Queens can say, just tell me the number. Right?
Here's what he says. He says, so will it be the Mets or will it be the Yankees or will it be some other team? I don't know. You can argue as the Yankee fans that they cannot afford to lose Soto, which is what I said. Well, they can afford to lose him. The franchise is not going to crumble. But they certainly, as we have seen, a much better team with Soto and Judge than with Judge and Stanton alone or something like that.
Oh, absolutely. Any team that has Soto is going to be tremendously better.
So I have right here the net worth website. Hal Steinbrenner is worth $1.2 billion. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go to number one.
Number one. I wonder who that's going to be.
So Steve Cohen, when he bought the Mets, he was worth $17.5 billion. In 2020, do you know what his net worth is now?
It's got to be double that.
$21.2 billion.
Oh, Atlanta.
And I'm saying this now. Here's the thing: the Yankees, and this is why Cole. They're not going to be able to afford Cole. This is just why it's not feasible for them. I think they will still be a good team, and they could get middle rotation pitchers, and they'll still be a very good team. But you just financially cannot be giving all that money to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. You can't do it, dude. It's the penalties now.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look at it in hindsight. The penalties are this. The Yankees make their money on the international market.
Right.
They would lose a haul with international money. That's number one. Number two, they will be in purgatory in the draft for years. So say, for example, they got like the 22nd pick in the draft, right? They'd have to automatically, I believe, move down 10 spots.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be every year for like the next 5 or 6 years. You can't do it. It's just it's not feasible. You're going to have to pick one or the other. I would pick Soto, obviously, my opinion. I'm always picking the everyday player over the pitcher. But I'm not going to sit here. You can't sit there and say, and listen, my owner is the richest owner in all professional sports. Even I know it's not feasible for the Mets to do this. It's not. You're going to be in financial hell with not even Cohen's net worth, right? Like this is chump change for him. But it's a matter of the draft picks you're losing. It's the international money. You can't build your farms. You can't build an organization. You can't do it. It's just not feasible. So you're going to have to pick one or the other. And to me, I think it would be Soto over Cole. And I think Cole would leave as a free agent. I mean, Errol's convinced that if Soto resigns with the Yankees, he thinks Cole's going to the Mets. Right? Speedy, he said that. He thinks either Soto or
possible,
he thinks Soto or Cole, one of them is going to the Mets. That's what he thinks. And one of them will stay with the Yankees. And it's a very realistic situation that could happen. Now, do I want Garrett Cole? No, because he could be 35 years old. I'd rather Corbin Burns.
But guess what?
But
you know what, though? You know what, Josh? There's still at least 4 more games to play before we even have to start worrying.
Of course. Listen, and this is going to drag out.
So guess what?
This is going to drag out till January.
I want you finish your World Series.
I said Dodgers and Dodgers in 7.
And give me an X factor on both teams.
X factor for me is the Dodgers bullpen for the Dodgers. The X factor for the Yankees is Aaron Judge.
Because I have a feeling we're going to be talking about Soto for a lot more shows after the season, preseason, off season. We'll be talking about this in nauseum, basically.
The only way that the Yankees are going to have to overpay for Soto is if the Mets are inching in. That's the only way he's going to have to do with Steinbrenner.
So
the Yankee fans are going to have a conniption if he goes to the Mets. They will. They are. They're going to burn the stadium down. They're going to say, "What the hell?" They're literally going to be like, "So what is this? We let him. So if we lose the World Series and then we let him go to the Mets, that's what we're gonna like. You can't do that.
But guess what?
Like that's the pressure on Steinbrenner has a lot of pressure. That's why the Yankees have pressure
Oh,
to win
absolutely.
this World Series more than the Dodgers do, because the Dodgers are going to be sustainable. Because the Dodgers could spend endlessly. Because yet the Dodgers always find diamonds in the rough with their farm system building. They always do. The Yankees have yet to build the sustainability with their farm system. That's the difference. The Dodgers constantly find Dustin May every year. They find guys.
Well, we'll get into that a little bit more,
Yes,
but I want to
you
get into the world. There's still 4 games at least of Juan Soto being a New York Yankee. Okay,
yes. So you say
that.
What's the prediction?
That for now. Soto is still a Yankee and playing on the biggest stage right now. And you know what? I guess I'll go now with some World Series predictions here. All right. So I hate that I have to agree with you in the 7 games, series, because I think it does go 7 games. I also hate that I have to agree with certain things that you say with this. That this could be Soto's last time as a New York Yankee and everything. I do.
It's easy. He's picking. What happened? You got Soto that he.
No. All of a sudden, I lost your video, and I was like,
I was talking to Speedy about something.
Because I myself, like bigger, and that definitely scared me.
I'm sorry. It would scare everybody. Don't worry.
That's what I'm saying. I hate that it's 7 games, and I hate that I have to agree with you. But here's some of the factors that I think are really going to.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
You said 7 games.
I said Dodgers at 7, though.
And I said I hate that I have to agree with you that 7 games.
Oh, but you didn't pick the team yet. Okay, this is
getting there. We're getting there, Josh.
We still got Valenzuela, and we got to do at least 3 football games this week.
Stay with me, Josh. All right, I'm wrapping it up. Listen, I think it comes down to pitching. It comes down to timely hitting. And it comes down to, like you said, a Mr. Aaron Judge. Mr. Aaron Judge is playing where? 4 games out of the 7. In his home area, right? It's a homecoming for Aaron Judge. There's a reason why he's the Yankee captain. There's a reason why he got paid his contract. There's a reason why he is arguably, maybe after Ohtani or close to, the best player in baseball. He's going to put up right now. You're also going to have Juan Soto, who's been on the stage before, knows what it takes.
You don't have Garrett Cole.
You're going to have – you have 09 A-Rod on the team right now. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton, right? I think the Yankees' X factor, though, in the lineup is going to have to be –
Don't say Jazz Chisholm, please.
It's going to have to be – if not Jazz, it's going to be –
Oh, no, he was going to say Chisholm.
Oh, absolutely.
He was going to say Chisholm. You think Jazz Chisholm is going to make or break what the Yankees do?
No, but he's going to be a catalyst for it. Right?
The only catalyst he has is his mouth. That's the only catalyst that he has going for him.
But besides, obviously, the big 3 for the Yankees, the biggest thing is going to be who's hitting after Stanton. That's going to be the biggest X factor of this. Because guess what? I have a feeling it's pretty obvious that Dave Roberts is not going to make the same mistake pitching to Stanton like Voit did, right? So you pitch around him. The next guy up is who? Is it going to be Wells? We'll see. Is it going to be Rizzo? We'll see. Whoever it is after Stanton, that's going to be the biggest X factor. Now the X factor for the Dodgers, it's going to be the entire bullpen. You're gonna if you have bullpen games and you have your high leverage guys going in those bullpen games, that's going to be a huge factor because guess what? Now they're going to be limited, right? How much can they go? 3 batters? Can they go 4 batters? Can they go 5 batters?
That's 7. I'm sorry.
Yes. That's going to be huge too if they have to use a bullpen game with the high leverage guys. Because guess what? You can't with this Yankee lineup. I don't think you can use unless you're trying to punt or whatever. We'll see. But I don't think you can use your lesser tier guys in a bullpen game and expect good results. So that's going to be huge. So I know long-winded, but let's get to it. In 7 games, the big factor. You made my prediction for me. Yankees in 7. Lock it in. Let's go.
There it is. Surprise, surprise, everybody. Didn't see that coming.
Right. We saw the Mets fans, surprise, surprise, thinking that the Yankees.
No, I've been back and forth with picking the Yankees and the Dodgers, actually. I actually, if the show was yesterday, I would have picked the Yankees.
I don't know, because we didn't talk yesterday. We talked Tuesday.
Dude, if I was such a Met homer, I wouldn't have had I wouldn't have had the Yankees going to the World Series.
Didn't you tell me on the phone the other day the Dodgers they're gonna
they're relentless. They're a relentless group. I watched it.
They haven't seen anything like this.
They're
going to be in for a rude awakening.
They are going to be in for a rude awakening. Now the series will drag on.
But then you say, "Oh, but if it was yesterday, I'm picking the Yankees."
Yeah, because my tune changes.
I don't know. I'm keeping some receipts here, Josh. Just like last year.
And you know what? Robert Saleh kept those receipts too. And how did that work out for him? He's sitting on the sideline.
Like last year. Well, I hate Rodgers as my quarterback.
Yeah, an offensive consultant. Where did that come from? He didn't even touch the offense with the Jets. Anyway, really quickly, condolences to Fernando Valenzuela, who passed away at the age of 63. I don't know if you guys touched on it at all this week. It's really crazy when you look at his career. Obviously, Fernando Mania, he threw, I believe, if Tommy Lasorda didn't pitch his arm out of his socket all those years, he probably would have went to the Hall of Fame. When you look at it, I mean, his first year, he started 25 games, 192 innings, and he was 13-7, very good. And his strikeouts went up every single season. He made the All-Star team 6 straight times. Was the former Cy Young Award winner, was 6-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, World Series champion, and the Dodgers were set to honor him. He was the Spanish announcer for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He was set to honor him during this World Series that he passed away at the age of 63. So when we look at Fernando Mania and everything that he brought to this country from Mexico, it was a phenomenon. It was something that nobody had ever seen before. It was something that was generational. 63 is a very young age. When you look at the highlights, obviously, of the windup, the famous windup that he did, where he would wind all the way back, his body would arch all the way back, and then come forward, and he was almost unhittable. And like I said, if Tommy Lasorda didn't pitch his arm out, he probably was on track to be a Hall of Famer. Do I think he is a Hall of Famer? I don't by the numbers. I mean, his career, he's 173 and 153 with a 3.5 ERA. So it's not really Hall of Fame worthy numbers. But again, he was a phenomenon. He was a big part of the game, of growing the game, of course, internationally, which is what he did. And he brought something special to the game of baseball. And that is what was unique about him. And go watch highlights of him. Go see what he's done in his life, in his career. Because, like, after 86, it was just downhill because, again, he pitched 192 innings, and 285, then 257, then 261, then 272, then 269, then 251. I mean, so many innings that he pitched. It was insane that Lasorda did that. So, yeah.
No one's touching those innings now.
Not even close. Not even close. So
we're not even that consistently.
No, not even remotely close. But thoughts and prayers to his family, of course, and everything like that. Fernando Mania will live on forever. We're going to do a quick one this week. We're going to do 3 games that I have here. I'm going to pick good ones.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I mean,
what's our results from last week?
Speedy, what were they from last week?
I haven't looked.
Speedy hasn't looked. That's okay. All right. If you want to play the music, Speedy, the games are brutal this week.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What are we doing? All right. I guess we'll start with the Colts at the Texans. The Colts are -5, and the over-under is 45.5. He's like, what, Josh? Why are you doing my job for me?
Why are you picking this game of all games?
Because there's not many games. And Speedy, there's really no games. Colts are hot. Texans are mediocre right now.
Well, Texans are missing Nico Collins right now, and I think that's hurting the entire offense right there. But their defense is still stout, and I don't think Anthony Richardson can do what needs to be done to win this game. Give me the Texans. Give me Diggs with a
Giants
touchdown.
are Monday Night Football this week.
They're in prime time. They're losing. It's a loss. It's a loss.
God, these games are so bad this week. I'm gonna take the Texans in this one. I like where their defense is. I think this is kind of a pick-me-up kind of game. Everything after what happened against Green Bay last year, that's a tough one. They had it in their grasp, but they blew it. So to me, I'm going to take the Texans in this one. We're going to go Chicago at Washington. Chicago favored, which is surprising.
Oh, yeah, potentially no Jaden Daniels.
But they said he's playing.
Mm.
Schefter said he's playing today. Help me, Terry McLaurin, because I lost Godwin for the year. Let's go. Let it ride. I like Washington still in this game, even with McLaurin, because I don't trust. It's Eberflus. I have trust issues with him. I don't fully believe in Caleb Williams yet. Speedy knows how I feel about Williams. I think May and Daniels are so much better than him. It's not even close. I'm going to go with Washington this one, even with Daniels, not fully 100%. What happened to the music? There you go.
Stupid ad came.
Oh,
What though?
those ads.
I can't disagree with you, but when I look at that game, the biggest thing that sticks out to me is defensive wise. I think Chicago's secondary is pretty darn good. And I think they help kind of basically limit Jaden Daniels. If Daniels is able to run all over them, but I think with his injury, he's not going to be able to do as much as he should, that it's going to be Chicago winning this one very closely.
All right, and the last game we'll pick Atlanta at Tampa. Atlanta now 2.5-point favorites, obviously losing Chris Godwin, losing Mike Evans. I have to think Cooper Kupp is going to be an option for the Bucs. They need something to help Baker. He's playing really well. He's an MVP candidate right now. That division is very winnable. It really does stink because everything was clicking for them. And, while I don't think they had the best team in the NFC, I think they could have made a run. I still think Detroit is, even without Aiden Hutchinson, I think Detroit is still the best team. I think Green Bay is right there as well with them. I do think with Detroit, give the Raiders a call and see what they want from Max Crosby. If you're the Lions, see what they want for him. That will replace Hutchinson. But I'm gonna go with it. It's tough. You know what? I'm still gonna surprise you. I'm gonna go with Tampa still, even without the weapons. Because here's the thing: I don't trust Atlanta at all. Their defense is mean. He did not great. Cousins has been so up and down this year since coming off the torn Achilles. Don't I know it as a Jet fan watching my garbage? That team is dead as dead can be. So to me, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers.
So look at the first time they played, right? It was primetime game. Buccaneers had all their guys, and it was a shootout, right? It took overtime. It took some missed field goals. It took a few things that way for Atlanta to win it. Mm-hmm. I don't think Atlanta is going to be playing from behind this game. I think, unfortunately, losing Evans, losing Godwin, basically Atlanta knows if they stop the run, they're in good shape. So give me Atlanta. I still think it's a close game. Don't get me wrong, but I think Atlanta has it with that. Just too depleted for Tampa Bay. The air is kind of let out of their tire there.
All right, and that's it for our picks for the week. And it is already that time for the Better Than That segment. Eric, take it away, man. You started first.
All right, you know what?
Whoa! He went the whole chair thing. What's going on there? Something's bothering him. Something's grinding his gears.
I've had this one, and it's been grinding my gears since forever. All right, I understand the Super Bowl. Having a week for the Super Bowl, you have media day, you have all these festivities, you have all these things, and finally you have the one game, and players have a rest. But guess what? They play weekly anyway that way. I'm not a fan of this long break between Championship Series and World Series, right? One team with momentum, one team limping in, vice versa. But guess what? Too much time in between. We should be in game 3, 4 already in the World Series. Let's get it going earlier. We're gonna have November baseball. No, we won't. It won't end that far. But I'm just saying, your advantages, disadvantages with having a week off for preparedness and everything. Let's keep it going. Baseball, come on, let's figure it out. You're better than that.
You're better than that is quite simple. If you watched the TNT broadcast the other night, Shaquille O'Neal completely embarrassed himself and looked like a man that doesn't ever, ever, ever watch a lick of basketball. Because after one game, he basically said the Knicks are not going to do anything this year. Which I'm just like, bro, they played one game with a bunch of new players against the defending champions that have played together for years and raised the banner. You're seriously, and then Barkley and Kenny Smith were like, really? Like, they were, like, embarrassed for him. The Celtics shot out of their minds that night. To me, it's going to take time to grow. There's a lot of new moving parts here.
Mhm.
But it will come to fruition in the end. Because I do think these were great moves for the New York Knicks. I do. So Shaquille O'Neal, listen, bro. And if everybody on that TNT cast, anyway, he's the worst of all of them. He knows a little lick of nothing. Anyway, really at the one game? Okay. Shaq, you're way better than that, dude. Maybe. I don't even know if that's even the case. Check us out at worldwidesportsradio.com, YouTube, and Instagram. Of course, check out also the Sports Loudmouths with Errol Speedy and Jabba Chamberlain every week. And, of course, Fish, Tommy Scoops, The Wise Guy, The Betting Show, that the Weekend Crunch on 103.9 FM every Saturday at 7 o'clock or after the New York Islanders play. And you can check us out every Thursday at 6 o'clock right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Eric, it has been a pleasure. Good luck to you in the World Series, man.
Thank you. Gosh, this was fun. Should we do it again next week, Thursday?
That's not up to me. That is up to you.
Again, next week, Thursday, we'll say.
Well, listen, like I said, this was everything like that. But no, but it was a great show. It was a lot of baseball, which we'll be able to. I would think I guess games 1 and 2 are tomorrow and Saturday. 3, 4, 5 are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
And then there's a travel day for Friday, Saturdays. I think game 7 is Saturday night. So we might be in the middle of the World Series when
we're going to have a fun show talking baseball next week.
I agree with you. There's going to be a lot to discuss. Again, shout out really quickly to my New York Mets. Wonderful season. Did not expect it. I had them winning 77 games this year. Little did I think they were going to be in the National League Championship Series and in 6 games against the Dodgers. And as David Stern said in his post interview yesterday, we have to build off this. So sustainability is important, and everything like that. So see what he's doing. This is why I can't stand with the Yankee fans. This is what they do. Like, they're just so they're like irritating. You know, they brag about their 27 championships. They've been alive for like 1. You know what I mean? It's the norm.
That's a run. You cannot discredit them. No one thought the Mets were going to go as far as they did. No one.
I enjoyed it. I took solace in losing to the Dodgers because it's the freaking Dodgers.
Break, beginning of the year, who had the Mets going to the NLCS?
No, I didn't. That's
pleasantly surprised.
Eric, have a good weekend, man. Speedy, have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys next week. Take care and enjoy the World Series tomorrow night. Good luck to the Dodgers and Yankee fans. Have a good one, everybody.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.